What if I told you that the reality you know is not as solid as it seems? That time is not linear, that your thoughts are shaping your life faster than ever, and that you are already living in a multidimensional reality without even realizing it. Does it seem crazy? For know that this is one of the greatest secrets that few understand. The truth is that the spiritual transition is already happening, and clear signs are emerging to those who have eyes to see. Perhaps you have already felt this: time behaving strangely, absurd coincidences happening often, your keen intuition telling you things even before they happen. Science calls synchronicity, but the ancient masters have always knew that it is something much bigger, an alignment with the flow of the universe. The question is, are you aware of this or still attached to the illusion of the third dimension? The difference between those who awaken and who remains lost in this game lies in the ability to recognize these signs and use them to their advantage. But how do you know if you are already living in this new energy vibration? What are the symptoms of this change? And, more importantly, how can you take advantage of this knowledge to transform your life now? The answer to all this is closer than you think, and in the next few minutes you will understand exactly why. Something has changed. Suddenly, time no longer seems to follow that hard and predictable rhythm. One day it can fly in a matter of hours, while certain moments extend as if the clock has slowed. This temporal flexibility is a clear sign of the spiritual transition. Those who have experienced an intense déjà vu or noticed that certain coincidences seem programmed by the universe itself, are beginning to perceive the multidimensional reality manifesting itself. It is not illusion, it is a reflection of the flow of the universe adjusting its energy vibration. The thoughts also gain surprising power. Rather, what took months to happen now manifests itself in a matter of days, or even instantly. Just think intensely about someone and, minutes later, that person's message arrives. The accelerated manifestation is active, and with this comes a great responsibility, the need to control one's own energy and intention. Maintaining high vibration becomes essential to avoid creating unwanted realities. This is where the keen intuition comes into play, acting as an internal radar that guides each decision. And that's not all. Small signs begin to emerge on a daily basis, as if reality wanted to send hidden messages. The look at the clock always finds repeated numbers, 11:11, 22:22, reinforcing synchronicity. Certain songs play at the exact moment when an important thinking arises. The universe responds, but are everyone listening? The inner voice becomes clearer, as if it were a subtle whisper guiding to the right way. And as this perception expands, a new understanding begins to take shape. The world as it was known no longer makes sense. The old structure based on fear, scarcity, and control begins to crumble before the eyes of the awakened. Before, everything seemed solid and unchanging, but now it is evident that this rigidity was just a veil, a collective mental construction. The illusion of the third dimension is undoing, revealing that reality is much more fluid than imagined. This is why systems that once seemed unavailable, governments, economy, religions, are increasingly unstable. Those who perceive this change feel a call to break free from the old strings. And the most interesting? Nothing external needs to change so that this liberation happens. It all starts inside. As consciousness expands, it is clear that abundance does not come from the exhaustive effort, but from the vibrational frequency that is issued. Breaking the scarcity paradigm means understanding that the universe operates in a continuous flow of energy and that each is responsible for tuning with it. Those who insist on standards of fear and limitation remain attached to the old matrix, while those who choose to raise their vibration access new possibilities in a natural way. The reflection of this transition is a feeling of deep connection with nature and the very purpose of existence. The desire for external validation loses strength, for internal wisdom becomes the main compass. And this is just the beginning, because when one begins to see beyond illusion, the signs of awakening intensify. They appear even in moments of rest, in dreams. Dreams have never been just the result of chance. But now, they are more vivid, intense, and loaded with hidden meanings. These are not just random scenes, they are portals to a multidimensional reality, where the mind accesses information that consciousness arouses often ignores. This is why, lately, so many people report encounters with spiritual masters, visions of unknown places, and symbolic messages that seem to resonate deeply. Sleep has become more than a rest, it is a direct connection with universal energy and a channel to receive guidance from the very flow of the universe. And there is something curious, certain dreams seem so real that, upon awakening, it is hard to believe that they were not physically lived. This is because the barrier between the plans is becoming thinner. During sleep, expanded consciousness navigates dimensions beyond linear time, accessing knowledge that goes beyond conventional learning. Have you noticed how sometimes a persistent question finds your answer the next day without effort? This is the internal wisdom manifesting itself, transmitting insights that were once hidden. The key to deciphering these dreams lies in keen intuition. Maintaining a dream diary can be a great way to identify recurring patterns and messages. In addition, the practice of asking for guidance before bed, either through a clear question or a well-defined intention, can make room for even deeper revelations. But what happens when the notion of time begins to change, not just in dreams, but in reality awakens? Time no longer behaves as before. Hours look minutes, while certain moments expand as if they lasted eternity. This feeling of temporal distortion is not coincidence, it is a direct effect of the transition to a multidimensional reality. As consciousness expands, it is clear that time is not linear, but a fluid field, shaped by the energetic vibration of each moment. Have you noticed how the days go faster when it is immersed in something pleasurable, but seem dragged when the energy is dense? This is because the way we perceive time is directly connected to the vibrational frequency we support. And this change is not limited to subjective perception. Many people have experiences of temporal lapses, where small parts of the day seem to simply disappear or change sequence. It is as if the conscious mind is jumping between different versions of reality without realizing it. These jumps occur because, when vibrating in tune with the flow of the universe, it is possible to access more favorable temporal lines, a skill that great spiritual masters have always dominated. Time does not hold us, but responds to our vibration, allowing the accelerated manifestation to occur more fluidly. This explains why certain desires materialize almost instantly, while others seem locked in time. Those who learn to navigate this new dynamic can use this perception to manifest changes faster. Techniques such as creative visualization and deep meditative states help align the mind with universal energy, accelerating processes that would once take years. And this connection extends beyond time, reaching everything and everyone around. Suddenly, it is impossible to ignore, everything is interconnected. The separation between me and the other begins to lose meaning, and the perception that we are part of a great cosmic organism is strengthened. This consciousness arouses a deep connection with universal energy, where every thought, emotion, and action influences the whole. Have you noticed how close to certain people can suck your energy while others raise your vibration? This is because energy sensitivity becomes sharper, allowing the vibrational fields around more clearly. This connection also extends to nature. The wind, the sound of the leaves, the corner of birds, everything carries subtle messages to those who are attentive. Many begin to feel an irresistible call to be closer to earth, the sea, the trees, as these elements help to recalibrate the energy harmony of the body. Barefoot walking in the grass, embracing a tree, or simply breathing deeply outdoors are not just relaxing habits, but real ways to align with the vibrational frequency of the earth. And the more this connection is deepened, the more intuition is strengthened. This explains why, increasingly, the answers seem to arise effortlessly. Suddenly the inner voice becomes clearer, guiding accurately. Situations that once seemed confusing now make sense, because the mind is no longer isolated, it is tuned to the intelligence of the universe. And when this intuition begins to manifest more strongly, the coincidences are too evident to ignore. There comes a time when pure logic is no longer enough. Somehow the answer simply comes, effortlessly, without rational explanation, and, surprisingly, is right. The sharp intuition begins to manifest itself as a sixth sense, guiding each step accurately. It's that feeling of knowing exactly where to go, who to trust, when I act and when to wait. And the more you trust this internal sense, the more it is strengthened. Who has never had a strong feeling about something and, later, realized it was right? This is because internal wisdom has always been present, just needed to be heard. And this perception goes beyond everyday decisions. Many people report that they begin to feel the energy of places even before they enter them. Others realize subtle changes in the vibrational field of people around, managing to capture their emotions even without words. Energy sensitivity expands, becoming a compass to navigate the world more clearly. This means that trusting the feeling becomes as or more important than trusting thinking. If something seems wrong, even without apparent reason, it is a sign that the vibrational frequency of that path is not aligned with the internal truth. A good way to strengthen this intuition is to practice moments of silence and connection with yourself. Meditation, intuitive writing, and even the practice of asking something and observing the signs around can accelerate this process. The more this internal listening is exercised, the more the answers come clearly and spontaneously. And this new form of perception has a natural consequence: the opinion of others begins to lose importance. Suddenly that need for external approval begins to disappear. What once seemed essential, to please, to belong, to be validated, loses strength, for the internal truth becomes clearer. Those who awaken to this new reality understand that the opinion of others is just a reflection of the beliefs and limitations of others, not a measure of their own value. This is one of the greatest signs of limiting belief liberation. Consciousness expands and realizes that no one out of itself can define its way. After all, following your own intuition will always take further than follow external expectations. This detachment from the opinion of others brings a sense of freedom unprecedented. Decisions are made based on what makes sense internally, not the fear of judgment. And ironically, in stopping acceptance, authentic connections become stronger. This is because the vibrational frequency aligns with people who really resonate, with whom one is real, not a character created to please. This is where one realizes that living in tune with its own essence is infinitely more powerful than trying to fit into molds created by a society still attached to the illusion of the third dimension. But how to apply this in practice? A great exercise is to question yourself before any decision: I'm doing this because I really want, or because I fear what others will think. This simple habit can reveal how many choices are still influenced by the external look. Over time, confidence in itself is strengthened, and the need for approval disappears. And when this happens, something magical occurs: deep and spontaneous knowledge begins to emerge without effort. Has it ever happened out of nowhere to appear in mind without any effort to pick it up? This is spontaneous knowledge manifesting itself, a natural ability that intensifies as consciousness expands. The rational mind may even try to explain how this happens, but the truth is that this knowledge comes from a much larger source than the common logic. It springs from the universal energy field, where all information already exists and can be accessed by those who are in tune. It is as if intuition, experience, and accumulated wisdom come together in one flow, bringing instant perceptions of any subject. Many people report that when talking about something, they end up expressing deep insights that they didn't even know they had. Others experience moments when they feel they lower information, as if they are connected to greater intelligence. This is because, as multidimensional reality becomes more present, the mind begins to capture data unconventionally. Learning is no longer just a linear process, based on study and repetition, and becomes a direct connection with the field of knowledge. Great inventors, artists, and thinkers throughout history have reported this kind of experience, the so-called moment of lighting. And the most interesting? This can be cultivated. The more a person trusts his flow of the universe, the more this ability develops. Practices such as intuitive writing, meditation, and even deep conversations with awake people can accelerate this process. When you are aligned with this internal wisdom, the answers come even before the questions are formulated. And with this new level of perception, the way of creating reality completely transforms. It all begins to manifest faster and more accurately. If it would once take years for something to happen, now things seem to come almost instantly. This is because, with conscience awakens, the creation of reality becomes more direct and powerful. Accelerated manifestation is a natural consequence of tuning with the flow of the universe. When energy vibration is aligned, desires are no longer just thoughts and come to fruition quickly. But there is an essential detail: the energy that emits determines what is received. If the mind is focused on fear, doubt, or scarcity, these will be the manifested experiences. If, on the other hand, there is confidence, clarity, and gratitude, the results multiply. A classic example of this is when you think intensely in something and, shortly thereafter, signs begin to emerge. It can be a random conversation that brings exactly the answer that was sought, an unexpected opportunity, or even a perfect chance. This is no coincidence, it is synchronicity. The universe responds to intentions, but for this answer to be positive, it is necessary to maintain the vibrational frequency high. Techniques such as visualization, statements, and genuine feeling of already having what you want are effective ways to enhance this process. The secret is to act as if it were already real, because at the quantum level everything already exists, just tune. The big key is to understand that reality does not happen to us, but through us. Each thought and emotion shapes the future, and the difference between those who live in the flow and those who feel stagnant is in the way they use this ability. Creation power is always active, and now, with this clearer perception, the next step is to learn to use it consciously. After all, if everything manifests so fast, it is essential to have control over what you want. Now that you know that reality is not as fixed as it seemed, the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you keep ignoring the signs, or will you use this new perception to consciously manipulate your reality? The universe is already responding to its vibration. Every thought, every emotion, and each intention shape what happens around it. If you do not take control of it, someone or something will do it for you. So what prevents you from freeing yourself from limiting beliefs and assuming the power that has always been within you? Think about it. How many times have you felt that something was about to happen before it even happened? How many absurd coincidences have already happened in your life? This was no chance, it was synchronicity. It was the universe showing you that you are connected to something much bigger. Now the next step is to adjust your energy vibration, raise your conscience, and learn to navigate this new reality consciously. You can ignore it all and follow on autopilot, or you can start applying this knowledge and turn your life once and for all. If this content has opened your mind and made sense to you, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to continue learning about the fifth dimension, spiritual transition, and multidimensional reality. After all, this is just the beginning, and you won't want to be left out of what is coming. We see each other in the next video.